Okay, the guys are finishing up for the day today. I think the complexity of it is not confusing them, but it's quite difficult. So essentially there's an inner and outer hexagonal framework, and then that's all tied between the posts going across the building as well. So subsequently this is the supports for what will eventually be the ring beam, shuttering and rebar frames, and they'll all tie in with all the posts all the way around. It's a couple of days, 3 days work. These three guys are on site, so they're working right up till 5 o'clock. The other robots have disappeared off. So yeah, they've put string lines between all the posts to make sure they get the right angles and right height. The actual height is 800 mil, so 80 centimeters high, and then they're going to put a 60 centimeter by 30 centimeter ring beam, and that'll tie it all in together and make it very, very strong. So I think they've got a week at this, or maybe less. As you can see, most of the frame for half of the building's done. They took the top plate of boards on top, the ring beam metal steel rebar is going to sit on. So yeah, they've been busy today. I'll tell you what, that is very, very rigid. You can't move it, it's not moving at all. I'm trying my best to do it, but that is really well made. Tough. It doesn't move at all. I'm not really pushing really hard, but it is it's not moving at all. And I did see them walking on it earlier on, so I guess it's strong enough. So here we are at the end of the day. We've had welders in today. So where you see those 100 mil box in parallel all the way along there and there, all the way along to the other side, that is the span of our roof. And yeah, they're 100 mil box been welded together, and in between the parallel box section of the 100 mil, there's going to be 75 mil done at zigzags as per our plan. This is all being laid out on a jig frame that the welder's done. We spoke to him earlier on today. I couldn't really film much. I've got a little bit from earlier on, but because it's quite noisy. This guy is used to working on factories. Nim's employed him to do this fabrication. This fabrication is going to be lifted into place by crane. It won't be lifted in any other way. So, I don't know how many of these frames is going to get made. I'm assuming this is the main one that goes across from right to left down the centre of the house, or centre of the building structure. We haven't had any of the timber framers in today. We've had a day off, or they've been repurposed to another job. But red sky at night, Shepherd's Delight. What a beautiful sunset. And yeah, look forward to tomorrow because we've had good progress today. Yeah, very pleased, very pleased. They had to use their own generator though to create power to run their welders because there's not enough power in the cables that are running from the pole. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. Okay, you can see all the cross members are all tacked in, all the frameworks there. This is, like I say, the center one, and then we've got a cap that I showed you on my original plan building. So the cap there, there's cap for the roof there. So all these, they're all in place. They're just tacked in place at the moment. So day 2 of making this framework up, or this roof joist. Number 1, this is the main beam one. Anyway, let's get up on here so we can get an aerial view. We've had a few more bodies here today as well. I couldn't film much today because one, we were busy on doing the wall, the posts around the fish pond, or our pond, and secondly it was very noisy here with the welders with their generator running all day. So it doesn't look like much progress, but they're making everything rigid now. But we've also got over here, they've made a setup over here for the rebar to be made up, and they've set up their own jig, and this is what they bend the rebar, look. So they're all bending it by hand, and then they'll make the framework up. I didn't see much of this today, but hopefully tomorrow I will. But these are their little benders to bend. So yeah, looks like they've been busy. That's not easy bending. I think that's 16 mil rebar. Jesus, that's thick old stuff. Anyway, hopefully that's the update for today. And it's sugarcane season, so everywhere smoky in the air. And yeah, might have a bit more progress to show you tomorrow on this, because it looks like they've made progress here with the second half of the hexagonal. So we'll see. But we got some people back in the DK camp. Looks like someone's with his wife, or there's a lady worker there, I don't know. But yeah, they're all showered and they're just having their dinner now with a fire. It's a bit chilly here now. The wind's windy. It's cool. It's cool in the morning. Anyway, that's the update for today. Oh, there's me not paying attention. Yes, they've made some of the framework up for the ring beam. There you go. On two sides of the hexagonal. Wow. There you are. That's progress for you. Well, it looks like they're overlaying on the big beam they make to make the next beams, so they're equals. But I haven't quite worked out what they're going to do in the middle, because yeah, I don't quite know how they're going to do that. And these are for the back trusses that go out onto the area at the back, the square area at the back from the roof. So they seem quite big and all. Looks like they cut a load more for another one. I don't know, I can't quite work that one out yet, but I'll have a look at the plans. But there's a big jigsaw puzzle being made here. I just hope it all goes together on the day when they decide to lift it up. Well, that's day 2 of it, or 3, so we'll see how we get on. Anyway. Well, this evening is a lovely evening again, a lovely sunset. My digger vantage point's gone. The digger's left the site. So, as you can see, I'll have to see whether I can get up on and have a look at this. I don't know how strong this is, but they're putting in a lot of steel work, rebar for the ring beam. But that's one big beam across there, bugger me. So yeah, there's still a lot to do, but they're getting there. All these, obviously where they're gonna stand, this is where they stand all the rebar. And then obviously they'll pour concrete and that'll be underneath the concrete. But, sorry, yeah. But there's still a lot to do. We've been checking the rebar sizes and such like, and we think he's got some dimensions and we think we're short on rebar, so yeah, I have to have a little word and check. Keep checking. If you're having a build in Thailand, just make sure you keep checking all what the builder's doing, even if it seems rude at the time. Because believe me, if you don't check, it's too late once they've finished. And before they start pouring concrete, we're going to make sure they've got every single right rebar, right size, right amount, because this is immensely structural. And this will be holding a hell of a slab of concrete. So yeah, it's coming now. I'm going to try and find a vantage point for later on in the week so I can see a bit more. But there's a lot of work still to be done, but there's a lot of work being done. Also, the welding boys have been over here. That's all the sections cut for tomorrow to do another roof joist pair tomorrow. Those ones there all stacked up there, they're the ones that are going to support the roof spans around hexagonally, and that's also for the rear beam that goes over the entertainment space at the back. I'll show later on in this video and explain a few bits and pieces using the diagrams from our plans, because being a home or house builder or customer, you must always keep your eye on the plans. Make sure they're being built to spec. Know your plans inside out. Know your spec for your rebar, for your concrete, for your heights of your pillars, etc. I studied mine, and I've studied it and studied it and studied it. Now I'm glad I did. I'll explain that later. If something doesn't happen over the next few days. Anyway, that's the update for today. speak to you later. Oh yeah, I'm standing on top of my pickup because I've run out of my vantage point, but I didn't stand any higher. There you go, that's the update for today. And Camp DK are very happy as well because we've sent them some vegetables, some fruit, and a few extra bits and pieces, herbs and such like. So they got something different than just a stir fry. The welders are still struggling for power to run their welders. So they brought some specialists in to see whether they can increase the ampage. But because they say when they get to actually fitting the roof, they're going to need the welder to weld the roof in situ. Well, the sun's in my eyes and the sun's setting. Dong Quan build site. They've got the last of the forms to do, which is where you can see the string running along there, all the way along, crosses over there and goes across to there and goes across to there. Other than that, we're done. Just got to then put all the ring beam steel in the rebar, and we've had a delivery today, so we're not going to run out, but I think we need to add more. Got to check the architect tonight, which we're going to have a chat with, and yeah, I think tomorrow we'll be having a chat with him. Here's the view from essentially what will be our front door into the house. Lots and lots and lots of rebar. Looking forward to getting it all done. They reckon they're due to get it all shuttered in and probably poured concrete by 29th. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Eh? Keep our fingers crossed. Hi everyone. A couple of evenings ago, Mon and I were on a wander around our build site, and we were just chatting, and we said, this doesn't seem right, there's something not quite right here. And we went home and we sat down and we went through these again, checking. And as you can see, we've pointed out various B's, etc., etc. This is the one that we wanted to find out what B1 and B3 are. So B3 is rebar 16 times 4, and then rebar 16 times 6. So top, bottom. And the same B2, 4 times rebar 20 mil, top and bottom. So this one here is a very structural one. And then we looked over here and we saw B8, B7, and we wondered, what the B7, B8? We haven't got any spec for that. So we looked on our plans and we couldn't see any spec at all for it. So we wondered what we're going to do. So we rung up our architect and said, and he was away. So a couple of days later, as in last night, he got back to us and he said, they're very heavy duty. And I said, well, send over the spec for them because we haven't got them. He said, yeah, you've already got them. And then he sent us the spec over. That's what we already had. That's just for up to rebar or DB6 or B6. Yeah, B6. So these have 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. And then this one arrived on an email. This all relates to B7 and B8 on C3 posts and C2 posts, C1 posts. And as you can see, 4 bar 16, 3 rebar 20, and then 2 hoops, and then the same for this one as well, B7, 5 rebar 20. And these are for the main structures, the main beams crisscrossing at a hexagonal rate. And then we saw this one, B8, 5 rebar 20, which on the bottom, 3 rebar 20 on the top. So B8 on this here should all be rebar 20. So we've had a word with Nim today, and we've had a little chat. It was not his fault. We didn't receive this spec. This spec has come to us late. So obviously we're going to end up with a charge for additional rebar. But he said, no problem at all. He was going to put 16s in, but he says 20s, he will put 20s in. Like I said, if you're building a house, it don't matter where you are, whether it be in Thailand or the rest of the world, mistakes happen. If you don't keep up on it, if you don't keep checking on it, you're going to be in the shit. If that had gone to pour concrete on them already at rebar 16, we would have had a very unstable slab and we would have been in trouble. Check, check, and double check. And if it doesn't look right, ask questions. That's it for the... I'm not going to do any more bossing, but boy am I glad we checked. Anyway, I'm going to do a final walk around this evening and then finish off this video or this episode. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found it enjoyable, mildly entertaining. Okay, as the sun sets on the Don Quan build site for episode 8, we've now got all the wood supports done, and next week the rebar's going to be going on in earnest. And after our long conversation with Nim this morning, it's all going to be the right size. There you go. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for this episode. Bye bye.